My name is Brian Hansen, and today we're going to talk about what it's like to work on an ENG crew for ESPN College GameDay. Now, this is not my first job working for ESPN. I do work through a crewing agency that sends me out on these jobs, so I've done several of these. And what does it look like? First off, we had to drive over because this was to support the game between Ohio State and Tennessee over in Columbus, and I'm here in Indianapolis, so it's about a 3-hour ride. So it was a crew of two, me and one other guy went out there, and he was the principal photographer, DP, and I was assisting. And what was the task? Well, the task was we had to get over there. We spent the night, the first night, because we had an early call time on the Friday before the game, and we had to go to the trophy room for Ohio State, which is apparently a very popular place, and it's pretty cool. It has all the trophies from all the championships, as far as I can tell. I don't think they're missing one in that room, but and the idea was to shoot artistic B-roll in the room. And how did we accomplish that? Well, the DP had me help him with lights and setup and all that. So we used a couple small aperture 60X fixtures, and we set up a couple lights to aim at the different trophies, especially the one trophy that's like all glass. It's like a football and it's all glass, just to create some hard light and some sparkles and stuff like that. And then we brought in an 8x diffusion sheet that we used because in that setting, you really don't want to get all the reflections because it's a lot of glass. So we used the diffusion fabric to eliminate the possibility for all sorts of things like our camera and tripod and our light stands and all that stuff showing up in the shot. So that was the first thing that we did. Got great stuff. And then after that, we transitioned over to the locker rooms, and we went to both locker rooms. The visiting locker room was a little harder to shoot in. It was a little tighter. The visiting locker room had all of their cases and all of their stuff in it. We basically lit up the jerseys. We used a bunch of the magnetic aperture stuff, the MC and the MT, and we also used the 60Xs. We also turned off the overhead lights so that we could, get that drama going. After that, then we went over to the home locker room, which was a lot bigger and a lot more space. Unfortunately, we couldn't turn off the overhead lights in that room because they were still working in there and there was still stuff going on. But that was similar, did the same kind of thing. We got very artistic shots, setting up all of the MCs and MTs, magnetizing them to lockers, and it was just some really, really cool stuff. And then the other thing that we had to do while we were there is we had to feed this footage back to ESPN. And earlier in the day, we went over to where they were producing the show, which is a very big set. It's got lots of, I think it was one main production truck and one support truck, big crew, hard cameras, boom cameras, the desk there for the talent. It's a raised platform with a covered awning, lots of lighting up on the truss to get everybody lit up. It was a little cold, and it did start to snow a little bit, and that was just a little bit of an added challenge, but nothing too bad. The campus was pretty empty because it's winter break and there weren't students on campus going to classes, so that made it a lot easier to get around. It's only a 3-hour ride over there to Columbus, so we ended up coming back that night. So we went out the night before, spent the night, and then came home the next night. So only one night on the road, and I'm into that. ENG stands for Electronic News Gathering, if you don't know what it means. And it's just a way of describing a small crew going out to get some specific shots of stuff. Sometimes ENG means just B-roll, and sometimes ENG means B-roll and interviews. In our case, it only meant B-roll, and we had some time and creativity to bring some lights and make the shots look really good. The DP on the job, his name is Ted, and he was great. Great to work with, super talented. I would be his AC any day of the week. I learned a lot from him, and I've been in this business for 25 years, and I'm still learning things every single shoot. Every project that I do, I'm learning things. And that is why I love doing this, because you just can never know everything, and you learn from everybody. And Ted specifically, he's just done so many things, and he has so much experience with this kind of project, and I love learning. The process for getting the footage to ESPN was not by taking cards out of the cameras and transferring it locally. It was done over a TVU. ESPN uses these all across the country. They've got dozens of them. So earlier in the day, we got the TVU from our contact. And then what we did is we connect the camera to the TVU via SDI, and we make contact with the studio in Bristol, and we play the footage out through the TVU, and they receive it on their end. That's usually a quicker way to do it if the people that are going to be editing the footage are not local to the truck, and the people that were going to be editing it, I think, were in Bristol. The other thing we had to do was we had to go over to a popular restaurant there in Columbus called the Varsity, and we were just shooting scenics, as they say, exteriors, interiors, footage of people at the bar enjoying the game. The camera package that the DP used for the day was the Sony FS7, and we did a little bit of tripod shots and a little bit of handheld shots, and he adapted a Canon EF lens to the front of that for some of the wide angle stuff, and then a Sony zoom lens for the other stuff. Mostly we shot on the Sony zoom lens. Again, my role on the project was to help. I was the AC. I helped set up the lights, tear down the lights, move the stuff around, get in and out of the rooms. I did some calling and some coordinating with our contacts, and it was great. It was a lot of fun. It's really fun to work on this kind of stuff where you know that the footage is going to be integrated into the broadcast. This ESPN stuff moves really fast. There's a lot of people doing a lot of things, and it moves quickly, and it's exciting to do, and it's a great project, and I look forward to more of this because this is part of my effort to diversify, part of my effort to make sure that I'm doing a wide variety of things, make sure that I'm not just doing one kind of shoot. It was a great shoot, and I'm thankful for the opportunity. I'm always up for shooting for ESPN, and this one was no exception. So make sure you do all the things that you're supposed to do on YouTube, like and subscribe to this thing, and we will see you in the next one.